Ahead of training camp, we're going to talk about training camp battles that I'm looking forward to. We'll start with the RB2 spot. So I talked about this on Score North of how I wouldn't be surprised if the Minnesota Vikings were to cut Mike Boone. But the more that I think about it, I think Mike Boone is a sitting duck. The RB2 spot. So we're talking about in terms of football. If we were just looking in terms of football player versus football player, we would be looking at Alex Madison versus Mike Boone. But I think the mere mentioning of the word competition, much like Kai Forbath and Daniel Carlson last season, I think it's all a smokescreen. This is Alex Madison's job to lose because they drafted him in the third round. And quite honestly, Alex Madison could be great, but so could Mike Boone. I really just don't understand how the NFL works where you can have guys that can show a little bit of flash, a little bit of talent, and it's like, wow, we should probably give this dude a little bit more of an opportunity. But it's like the new shiny penny that comes in. We gaw all over them. We want to worship the new shiny penny and disrespect the dull penny, even though they equal the same amount. I just really don't understand it. Mike Boone could be great. Alex Madison could be great. In fact, I don't think there's that much difference between the two. I really don't think the upside or the ceiling between the two I don't think there's a difference between what they could turn out to be, because in terms of what they offer right now, Mike Boone, I think he has better footwork than Alex Madison. But what Alex Madison offers that Mike Boone doesn't is the truck stick. He uses the truck stick. If you play Madden, you know what I'm talking about. He just buries over people, just runs over dudes with power, and that's all well and good. But yes, he does that. He did that at least in the Mountain West Conference. Now you're going to the NFL, and I'm not trying to trash Alex Madison. I'm not. He really, really could be great. But I just feel like we're disrespecting Mike Boone. He deserves an opportunity, but okay, you're trucking dudes over in the Mountain West Conference. Well, now you're going to the NFL. Now everybody's an all-American player. Everybody lifts. Everybody is strong as hell. They're just as strong, if not stronger, than you are. So I don't know, man. I think Mike Boone, he's just a lame duck. He deserves an opportunity. If he were to get cut, he deserves an opportunity to play somewhere else and showcase his talents because he's a damn good football player, Mike Boone is. So I wish him all the best. If he stays on the team, I would like it, but I just think because of where they draft him. Alex Madison doesn't even need to show up. Don't even show up to training camp. I mean, just the way that it's trending, I don't want to be a hypocrite because when I talked about Drew Samia versus Josh Klein a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned now with Gary Kubiak here, much like we saw in the draft, like before Gary Kubiak, if Gary Kubiak weren't here, we would go all defense like we normally do in the draft. But with Gary Kubiak here, I felt like he had his fingerprints all over it. So maybe his presence is going to debunk the old Viking system, meaning that, well, we invested XYZ into this player, so they have to play ahead of the other player who may be just as good as they are. I think Gary Kubiak may have an influence there, but you never know with this team. Either way, if Mike Boone is on this team, I feel like it's Alex Madison's job to lose. So Mike Boone, whatever happens to him, I wish him all the best. Wide receiver 3, we're talking about Chad Beebe, Jordan Taylor, and Irv Smith Jr. Don't rule that out because in terms of Chad Beebe, we've seen what he can offer. In the limited snaps that he got in the regular season and during the preseason, this dude was a baller. Oh, my God, he was a baller. And I don't care that he's not – he's probably – I don't even know his height. He's probably listed at 5'9" or 5'10", whatever. But he's not the tall dude. I know that the Vikings, they've been looking for a big threat or a tall receiver, a big threat receiver. That's why they drafted Laquan Treadwell to be that big receiver, and it hasn't worked out. I don't care what height you are, damn it. Can you make plays? Can you catch the damn football? And Chad Beebe can do just that. However, if we're also looking at Irv Smith, if he's the better, more explosive receiver that can move out, okay, we're doing 2 tight end set formations, bunch sets. But let's say if we were to spread out a little bit, if Irv Smith Jr. can play out in space as a third wide receiver, whoever is the best wide receiver to play the third wide receiver role, I'm good with it, whoever it is. Jordan Taylor, he's taller than both of those dudes. So Irv Smith Jr., he's listed at 6'2". Jordan Taylor, he's listed at 6'5". So he's the bigger receiver. The problem is injuries. He hasn't really had much playing time or snaps in the last year or so. So that's going to be the thing that hurts him the most. But whoever is the best player, just put them out there. I don't give a damn. That's probably, to me, the most, I would say it's a tie with the most intriguing position group as far as battling in training camp is concerned, which the next position group that I'm talking about is a tie with that. Right guard. We're talking about Drew Samia versus Josh Klein. Josh Klein, he's a dude that's got the big bucks, so you got to think presumably he's the guy. Well, not even presumably. He's the lead guy. It's his job to lose. However, I think Drew Samia has a lot to offer. I have a man crush on this dude. This dude is going to be a beast. I predicted weeks ago, actually not that much longer after the draft, that Drew Samia, I think he's going to be your Mr. Mankato for 2019. So we'll look out for that. The next position group battle is the 3 technique. I'm looking at specifically Shamar Stephen. They brought him back after his year with Seattle. He's familiar with Mike Zimmer, so he's the guy that knows the system. So he's the guy that's leading the pack. And also, I'm looking at Hercules Mataafa for, if nothing else, maybe he can take the job, maybe he can't. Either way, I'm good with it. If nothing else, I'm on the edge of my seat. I just want to see this dude play. I'm so excited to see this dude play because of all the hype that he got last year, and we got robbed of the opportunity to see him. He got robbed of the opportunity to have a rookie season. I don't know if it works the same in the NFL as it does in the NBA, whereas if you miss the whole season, then your rookie year doesn't count. It basically laterals over to technically your second year in the league. I don't know if the NFL, if they do the same thing, but now, to me, he's going to have his rookie season in 2019. I'm just excited to see what this man offers because, if nothing else, he is depth. And the Vikings, they have a ton of personnel behind the starting unit of the defensive line. So I'm very excited to see the competition between those two. My guess would be, just outside looking in, just because of the familiarity that Shamar Stephen has, my guess would be he's going to be the starting 3 tech. Next, quarterback 2, the QB2 spot. The 2 quarterbacks that I'm looking at that will compete for that job is Kyle Sloter and me. That's right, Kyle Sloter versus Realistic Randy, because if you're not going to give Kyle Sloter the QB2 spot, then damn it, you might as well give me the job. Y'all dudes sat there and trotted out Trevor Siemian, and that's what I hate, politics. Politics when it comes to sports or any job. Oh my God, a dude that's clearly better. Kyle Sloter is better than Trevor Siemian. I don't care what analytics you put out there or, oh my God, well, he's familiar and he has experience in the NFL and he stinks. Trevor Siemian does. Kyle Sloter was clearly the better quarterback last year, and I swear if they find any reason to mark him down for the QB3 spot for some damn Sean Mannion, then I am going to lose it. You might as well give me the job. Give me the vet minimum of $500,000. This dude, Kyle Sloter, is your bona fide quarterback 2. There's nothing to talk about. Let's move on from that. And lastly, the last position group battle in training camp. Of course, somehow, some way, this just slipped my mind. Long snapper. The Minnesota Vikings have a long snapper competition, bro. Leave it to the Vikings to have a long snapper competition. This is ridiculous. And even so, even add on to that, leave it to the Vikings. After last year, you drafted a damn kicker for no reason when we had Kai Forbath. You follow that up this past draft by drafting a long snapper, Austin, what's his name? Austin Cutting in the 7th round. I get it, it's the 7th round, but why do you draft a long snapper? And if you're Kevin McDermott, how the hell do you get put in a position where you're competing for your job? Really? I mean, unless it's like to save cap space, whatever little bit of money that you'll save with that. How do you get put in a position besides that where you have to compete for your job as a long snapper? I'm sorry. That is ridiculous. And before I go any further with this, because this is just quite frankly hilarious to me, like how does PFF, how do they grade long snappers? How do they give them a grade? And before I go any further, let me be just straightforward with this. Austin Cutting, he was cleared. He joined the Air Force, or he attended the Air Force Academy, and he's deferring. He's been cleared to play with the Minnesota Vikings. He's been cleared to start his NFL career, so he's deferring his service until after he's done with the NFL. With that said, I'm not disrespecting the military. I'm not disrespecting the military. I'm not disrespecting the military, okay? In fact, I'm going to give a preemptive thank you for your service for when you do serve, Austin Cutting. We really, really do appreciate it. I'm talking about long snappers, and this applies to everybody. What the long snappers do at the combine? What do they do at their Pro Bowls? Or not their Pro Bowls. What do long snappers do at their pro day? Huh? Do they snap the ball and have a bunch of dudes with broomsticks acting like rushers coming after them? How do they do that? Long snapper, you have one job. You snap the damn ball. How difficult is that? How is this? We're competing for the long snap. It is so hilarious. It is ridiculous, dog. So I don't care who wins this battle. I just think it's hilarious that we have a long snapper competition. It's the easiest job. I could be a long snapper for the NFL. Yes, I said it. I'm going out on a limb, especially when you consider the fact, notice around the long snappers, whether it's field goals or punts, whatever, if you notice, the long snappers, they're lean dudes, they're fit dudes, they're not fat dudes, but they're surrounded by fat guys that actually have to block them because the rules protect the long snapper, okay? So all they do, they snap the ball, and they stand up and they go, throw a hand here, throw a hand there. All you got to do is snap the damn ball. What's so difficult about that? Oh, my God. They get paid $500,000 for that? That is hilarious. So anyway, those are your training camp battles for the Minnesota Vikings RB2 spot. More than likely, we're looking at Alex Madison. Is his job to lose. Wide receiver 3, that's a dice roll. For me, it's between Chad Beebe and Irv Smith Jr. Jordan Taylor, he's just suffered injuries. But who knows? Maybe he could be the guy. May the best man win. Right guard, Josh Klein, he's the guy. It's his job to lose. But I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Samia takes over. 3 technique, Shamar Stephen versus Hercules Mataafa. Shamar Stephen, he's familiar with this system, but I'm excited to see what Mataafa has to offer. QB2, there's nothing to talk about. It's Kyle Sloter. Otherwise, give me a job or have a contest. Have a contest out in Minneapolis. Who wants to be the second-string quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings? Just enter your name in the shoebox over here, and we'll raffle it up, and whoever it is, that's your name. We'll go ahead and give you a call. And then long snapper Kevin McDermott versus Austin Cutting. Oh, my God. Hell is frozen over now. We're going to have a kick-ass team, dog. This long snapper competition is going to determine everything. That is hilarious. So if you didn't catch this, I mentioned this at the end of Thursday's podcast on Score North. Starting next week, so the next 2 weeks, not going to be here. Going on vacation, going to a wedding next week. The week after that, I'm going to Myrtle Beach, a family vacation. And I talked about how, you know what, if Riley Reef is let go, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to let him go because Trent Williams, that situation, that's still a real thing, folks out there. If something happens, if a big trade gets made, Trey Wayne's name is still floating out there. I'll do a reactionary video. It's all good, but I'll be back in 2 weeks. We do this 3 times a week. Mediokr Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. You can check me on Twitter at realistic_Randy. I don't know, man. You might find me as a new quarterback, too, for the Minnesota Vikings. Facebook at Realistic Randy. We'll see you in 2 weeks.